The Japanese tea ceremony, Chanoyu, The Way of Tea, Chalo, and the Zen of It All, by Shiloh Brunton. Tea was introduced by China to Japan in the 8th century during the Tang Dynasty. It was originally used by priests and noblemen for medicine. Tea was rare in Japan from 794 to 1192. In 1187, Myoan Ieyasu, the founder of Zen Buddhism, started to use tea for religious purposes. In 1211, he wrote the Tea Treatise. The tea ceremony gained its popularity because of Ieyasu's Tea Treatise, where he mapped out the health benefits one may receive by drinking tea. That helped spread outside the Uji district where it was most popular, and the popularity became so high that they called for tea plantations. The samurai are another reason that the tea ceremony became so popular, because they loved everything that was from the Sung Dynasty, and so they embraced it wholly and gave it so much more popularity. There are different types of teas and tea ceremonies. The thick tea is for formal gatherings, such as weddings. A thin tea would be served at a social gathering, such as an informal ceremony, such as a social gathering. Some of the tea ceremonies are asacha, which is a early morning summer tea ceremony, and Yuzari no Chai, which is an early evening tea ceremony held in the warmer months. Tea is also typically served with sweets. One in particular is the mochi, which you will taste during this presentation. The tea rooms are typically the same. In every tea room, the floor are covered in tatami mats, and usually there is an alcove in the room, but the size may vary. The saroku is the door that the host enters and exits with their utensils. The tokobashira is the supporting beam of the tea room. The otoshigake is the support for the alcove wall. The kakekijuku is a hanging scroll which usually depicts calligraphy or some sort of painting. The tokogamachi is the bottom beam of the alcove. And the temaza is the tea master's mat. This mat is only used by the tishu. The tea ceremony utensils and the participants. The utensils together as a group are called dagu. The chabako is a box that the tea utensils are stored in. The chaki are the tea utensils or tea container. The desu is a utensil stand to store the utensils. The tenomoku is the tea bowl with narrow feet. You have matcha, which is tea, and the whisk. As for the participants, the tishu is the host. The first guest or guest of honor is called the shokeku, and they are the only ones allowed to speak to the host. The jikaku is the second guest to arrive in a tea ceremony. Anyone after that is called keiku, until you reach the last person to arrive, and they are the sume. This is a Japanese tea ceremony, an adaptation of a Japanese tea ceremony performed by my children and I hope you enjoy. The shokaku thanks the host for making tea. And then pardons herself for drinking before the next guest. The next guest will ask the first guest if they would like one more drink. And then pardons herself to the next guest for drinking before them. And hands the bowl.